Good evening, councillors. Good evening, councillors, staff, members of the public. I declare the ordinary council meeting on the 15th of December 2021 open at 5:48 p.m. Can you please stand? I wish to acknowledge the Yarrada people as the traditional custodians of the land which we're meeting on and recognise their strength, resilience and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. Item number 3, recording of attendance. The audio of this meeting has been recorded to facilitate community participation for minute-taking purposes, which may be released upon request to third parties. In accordance with Clause 616, the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders Local Law 2014, members of the public are not permitted to use any visual or audio electronic device or instrument to record proceedings of any meeting unless that person has been given permission to do so by the presiding member. Members of the public are also reminded that in accordance with Clause 6117-4 of Standing Orders, mobile phones must be switched off and not be used during the meeting. 3.1 Attendance. I note the following councillors are present and the attendance will be listed under the minutes of 3.1. And Councillor McDonough is also, and apologies. 3.2 Attendance by telephone, entertainment communications, there is nil. 3.3 Apologies. Councillor McDonald is apologies. 3.4 Approval of absence, there is nil. 3.5 Disclosure of interest. Councillor, do you have any disclosure of interest on tonight's agendas?
Excuse me, Mr Mayor.
Yes.
With regards to agenda item 11.3.3,
yes. Proposed
aerodrome and work accommodation, I have a financial interest.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Zulke. Thank you for that. Are there any more comments? No, thank you. Item 4, application for leave of absence. Mr CEO, are there any proof of absence at all?
I've received none, Mr Mayor.
Okay, thank you, CEO.
Yes, I did send an email through the chair to your EA requesting a leave of absence for the Christmas
Do you
period.
know what dates they were at all, Councillor?
Just the Christmas period.
It's actually from the 17th of December through to the 24th of January. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor.
I did get a reply back as well through the chair.
Okay, thank you, Councillor.
If there are no others, then we'll...
If there's no others at all?
If not, we'll
No.
go for a mover in a second.
Yeah. There's no other. No.
Someone
Yeah.
can do
Can I move the floor, please? Move Councillor Coles. Thank you. A seconder.
So second.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Is there any against?
Thank you through the chair.
Okay, thank you.
that?
It's all carried, yes. 8-0. Item number 5, response to previous questions. A response to questions received at the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 24th of November 2021 has been printed in the agenda and written correspondence have been sent to the individual. Item number 6, public time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an opportunity for members of the public to ask public questions of Council. Clause 6.73 of the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders Local Law requires members of the public wishing to ask questions to complete the question form and place the completed form in the tray provided. If the presiding member determines that the questions and statements are out of order due to offensive or objectionable expressions or defamatory, they will not be recorded or responded to. 6.1 Public question time. I declare public question time open at 5:52 p.m. CEO, do you have any questions at all?
I've received none, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, CEO. Do any members of the public wish to ask any questions at all? Yes, could you please come forward, state your name and address, please, for the records.
Hi, I'm Lee Gibbs, address 23 Warralong Way, South Hedland, and I have 3 questions. I'll start with, what is council's stance on mandatory vaccinations? Do you support them?
I'll take that on notice, thank you.
Okay.
What's the council's considered?
Question 2. What is council's position on excluding community members from public places such as gyms, entertainment venues, cafes, bars, bottle shops and dine-in restaurants based on their medical status?
We'll be guided by the health department on that one.
Sorry?
We'll be guided by the health department.
And number 3, what action or actions would council consider to protect the rights and freedoms of their unvaccinated ratepayers and constituents?
Yeah, we'll take that on notice, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So any more public questions? Yes, please come forward, state your address, please, for records, thank you.
Hi. Okay. Oh. Can I take it out? My name's Gail Victor. Presently not of a fixed abode. I am living in my car under trees and in people's backyards. I have 3 questions. First, through the chair, I would like to ask the CEO the reason that he did not read my statement out at the last council meeting, and why is my statement not in today's unconfirmed minutes?
Through you, Mr Mayor, thank you. The reason it wasn't read out, it's contrary to standing orders. You need to be present to actually make those statements.
Thank you, CEO. On that, my second question then, through the chair to the CEO, why then did you allow a community member, Mary Wynne, to read the statement on behalf of a person who was not present at the meeting? And the statement, in fact, had nothing to do with council business.
Probably not a question for me, probably a question for the Mayor as the presiding member, but obviously the Mayor is allowed to allow those statements to be made should he wish to.
Thank you.
Any response, Mr. Mayor?
I'll take that on notice, thank you.
Really? Anyway, I feel the decision was quite discriminating. Can you explain why you did not see this?
Say the question again, sorry.
My question is to the Mayor and the CEO. I feel your decisions were quite discriminating. Can you please explain how you didn't see this?
Certainly from my perspective, I wasn't aware they were discriminating, and yeah, they were made simply at the time on an administrative basis.
Okay, thank you. Your 3 questions, thank you. Do you have any more public questions at all? Okay, please come forward, state your name and address for the records, please.
Carmelo Blanco, 18 Hullway, Wedgefield. Mayor Carter, can you advise why you've never made any financial interest declarations in relation to the agenda item relating to De Grey mining? And do you intend to declare a financial interest tonight in 11.3.3 mining tenements for De Grey mining?
Is that addressed at me?
That's the question.
Because I don't.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I'll take it on notice, but keep going. Next question.
Take it on notice. You either have a financial interest
I don't have a financial interest at all.
You don't.
No.
So tonight's meeting, Mr Mayor, is about the proposed airstrip and FIFO accommodation, and you've been doing business deals in your capacity as the chairman at Carimba Aboriginal Corporation. To me, that looks and feels like a direct financial interest. Do you disagree with that?
It's just totally disagree, yes.
Mayor Carter, do you intend to declare a financial interest tonight on 11.3.2, the accommodation at lot 436, Bailey Retreat? And in addition to that, have you ever had any communications with MGM in relation to accommodating their workforce at the Lodge South Edland or the South Edland Motel?
That item has been withdrawn tonight. Thank you. That's your three questions.
It was in the,
That's your
it
three
was in the
questions.
agenda. When were we
It's
going to be
been-
told that it was withdrawn?
It will be told shortly. It has been withdrawn. Thank you.
Okay.
Any three questions are up. Thank you. Any more questions, please, from members of public?
Yes, I have
Sorry.
another question.
You had three questions. You've had three. You've had three. Thank you.
Is that a
Keller,
policy? Is that a
you've had three-
policy? Or
You've
is
had
that
three
the law?
questions. You've had three questions. We have other people make questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Do you have any other public questions at all? Yes, can you please come to the without your name and address for records, please?
Thanks. It's Gloria Jacob, 76 Sutherland Street, Port Hedland. I have two, possibly three questions to you, Mr. Mayor. I have the questions I have to ask of you today. I would implore you to answer them with some level of thought and a great deal of consideration. While you might answer, I'll take it on notice. It's reflected by your answer to everyone present here and the community, your lack of response, and it's not a good look. So on that basis, I hope you will consider the community of Port Hedland, whose interests you have sworn to serve and advance, when I ask for an answer to the following questions. Given the recent controversies you have embroiled yourself in, the negative publicity and the damage to council's reputations and questions of integrity resulting from reports of your improper and dishonest behaviour, will you, Mayor Carter, stand down as Mayor for the sake of the future interests of the town of Port Hedland and its people?
No, I won't be. Thank you.
Thanks. Good response. So why would you not consider stepping down, Mr. Mayor, when you have caused such disrepute and bad publicity for not only yourself, but the council and the town of Port Hedland?
I will not be stepping down. Thank you.
Mayor Carter, do you think the Charter for Councils applies to you, and do you think the town deserves somebody that represents them with integrity, accountability, and understanding of what the environment is for the town and its future aspects?
Absolutely. Thank you. There's three questions. Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have any more public questions at all? Yes, please come forward. State your name and address, please, for record. Thank you.
Name's Louise Newbury. I reside at 55 Redbank Road, long-term resident and ratepayer of 10 Port Hedland. Mr Carter, could you please state if the
Mr. Mayor,
information...
thank you. Mayor Carter.
Sorry, Mr Carter, Mayor. Could you please state in the information in the Australian newspaper recently, 12th December 2021, is this information true? As it's much concerned in the community, please advise.
I can't comment on that at the moment. Thank you.
I thought we'd be at that. Mr Carter, could I please ask for your resignation of your actions have put the office of Port Hedland into disrepute?
I will not be resigning. Thank you.
Thought not. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Questions? Can you please come forward, state your name and address, please, for the records?
19 Edgar Street. There's a fair bit of information that's been provided to councillors in relation to investigations, and the question is, has the CEO received that information, and can the CEO advise if he has forwarded that information to the appropriate investigative authorities, and if not, why not?
CEO?
The short answer is yes, I have received that information. I don't need to forward it on. It's already been forwarded on, and I have confirmed that.
Is the CEO aware that the CCC Act requires that the CEO report any serious misconduct?
Yes, CEO is aware.
And does the CEO regard this as serious misconduct?
No comment on that particular item.
Okay. Thank you, Roger. Any more public? Yes. Yes, please. Come forward, state your name and address, please.
Taluna Pitt, 3 Jurapuka Court in South Hedland. Recently, the Premier Mark McGowan came to Port Hedland in regards to vaccinating Aboriginal communities. I was at that meeting, and you yourself and the CEO were at that meeting, and I had asked the Premier how accurately were adverse reactions being recorded in regards to the vaccinations, and his answer was that there actually were no adverse reactions recorded in WA. Mayor Carter and also the CEO, can you confirm that you were there and you heard him say that?
I didn't hear him say that, but I was...
Really?
No.
Why you are CEO, you seem to not know much. For the amount of money you get paid, it's quite sad, really. What about you, Mayor Carter?
I didn't hear it either, thank you.
You didn't hear him say that? All right, second question. So I previously served on council with you as a councillor, and there was a lot of allegations of dysfunction. The local department came and investigated the town of Port Hedland in a what I'd call a failed and not thorough investigation. We were suspended, and at that time, and also here in the Northwest Telegraph, it said Carter jumped for the good of the town. In this article, it states that you jumped for the good of the town, so it wouldn't bring back, you know, the type of dysfunction, and this is actually your words. 4 councillors could have come back in January, and we could have had the same people come back. Now the town can start fresh in 12 months. So why won't you resign now?
So I'm not resigning, thank you.
With the disrepute and defamation and all the bad things with the council.
I'm not resigning, thank you.
So you're only interested in
I am not
resigning
resigning, thank you.
when state commissioners
I am
ask
not
you to
resigning,
resign
thank
for
you.
the benefit of the state.
I'm not
Is that
resigning,
the only
thank
time
you.
you're interested in resigning?
I'm not resigning,
For
thank you.
benefits?
Thank you, I'm not resigning,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you, I'm not resigning, thank you. Do you have any more public questions at all? Huh? Yes. Please come forward, state your name and address and record, please, thank you.
Dave McGowan, 11 Sutherland Street, Port Hedland. The town has had some pretty deplorable press the last few days in the Australian newspaper. As a long-term local, it is so sad to see our loved town reported again in the media for the wrong reasons. The matter discussed has been known to many of the town in parts for many months. The dots have now been connected, and it's time to stop this. It's a bloody embarrassment. How is the town expected to attract quality people and investments when we demonstrate the lack of leadership and professionalism required? My question is, what has the town of Port Hedland done to manage and rectify this?
I'll take that. I'll take that on notice, thank you.
Has the Mayor acknowledged he has a serious conflict of interest?
No.
And when will action be taken to remove the Mayor by a vote of no confidence by the councillors?
I will not be resigning, thank you.
I'm not asking you, I'm asking them.
Through the chair, I'm saying it now, I'm not resigning, thank you. That's the third question. Thank you very much. Okay, do you have any more public questions at all? Yes, can you please come forward, name and address, please?
Yep.
For the
Nicola
record.
Jacobs, 76 Sutherland Street, Port Hedland. Mr Mayor, through listening to all of these questions, people have been asking you, why will you not resign? And all you have said is, I am not resigning.
Correct.
Can you please explain
I will not be
why
resigning.
you will not resign?
I will not be resigning. Thank you very much.
And that hasn't actually answered my question.
That is my answer. Thank you. So, any more public questions at all? Okay, I will close public question time at 8 minutes past 6. Okay, 6.2, public statement times. Do you have any public statements at all? Okay, I will close public.
No, you don't get away with that quick.
Can you please come forward and take your name and address, please, for the record?
Camilo Blanco, 18 Hull Way, Wedgfield. You probably know that address really well now. Look, there are a lot of serious issues that come to the council consideration, and you're expected to make those decisions in the best interest of Port Hedland. And I know, and you know, and so do all the people behind me know, that you're never ever going to make everybody happy with the decisions you make, and that's why we try and make the best decisions for the town based on the majority. But what is really concerning with this council is the lack of debate on anything. And the meeting processes, they just don't comply with the basic rules. And you should know the basic rules. And the examples are plentiful. Members voting on items that their employers have here, you know, up for consideration. Members asking for advertising budgets to be spent in their workplace. Members voting on items that they have a direct financial benefit to themselves in. And today's display in the special meeting just proves that you have no clue how to run a meeting as per the standing orders. Asking for the vote, not confirm, or a mover and seconder not confirming the vote, or not confirming that, you know, there's a mover and a seconder, and then going to debate without knowing, you know, that there is a seconder on the motion, you know, geez, that's basic stuff, you know. So there's so many other examples there. I just, you know, you want to see me in the gallery just shaking my head. It's crazy stuff. You really need to get educated on the way you need to run a meeting, okay? The way you call points of order. You know, when you call a point of order, all conversation stops. There's no debate. All conversation stops, right? And then you announce the point of order, and you know, if you're not sure, have a look at your standing orders and see what it's all about. You know, your members here are, you know, criticising the public. You don't do that. That's actually a breach. You're not allowed to do that. Look at your standing orders. Not allowed to happen. The research that I've done over the last 8 or 10 weeks, and the evidence received from multiple sources, it's clearly a witch hunt, is being aired in the media now. And we're just getting started. There's so much more to come out. you were all issued a fair amount of that information. And as you should know, it's your responsibility to report. But I would say none of you have done that. You know, the only councillors that have actually done something about it were Councillor Coles, Christensen and Gillingham. And they pushed for the inquiry, which was clearly, you know, obstructed by the CEO and the Mayor. Well, I'm assuming the Mayor. But there was a real unwillingness to act on any information. So that puts the council's future in a very bad position, because all of the reading I've done on council matters and inquiries into the dismissals of local governments don't even come close to the amount of misconduct that is evident in the tender process and with some of the individuals on this council tonight. Doesn't even come close. I think there's about 27 inquiries. They're all about 1,500 pages long. I've read the whole lot. This is a corker. This stuff that's going on now is like, you know, puts all of that stuff to shame. So any decision made now and into the future with these members still on this council creates a serious bias in a lot of people's minds. Now, you know, the Mayor has been asked many times in question time, and I suggest that the Mayor fall on his own sword and resign immediately in order to save this council from dismissal. Because I don't want to see another Labor insert commissioner put in here, I really don't. You know, he made some really bad decisions. So I'd like you to think about that, Mayor Carter, because at the end of the day, if this council is dismissed, which I think it'll come very close because of the stuff that's been going on. Oh, by the way, if you are, and yes, the CEO was correct in saying that that the complaints to the police and to the CCC have been submitted, not to the Department of Local Government. I didn't do that because, and I put the complaints to the police and the CCC, and you all know that already because I told you that. But I didn't put it to the Department of Local Government because they are useless. I've submitted, you know, 60 odd complaints of serious misconduct to them and they've done absolutely nothing, so I'm not going to waste my time with them. So I suggest, and the Minister for Local Government was in the media, you know, 2 days ago saying, oh, well, the department doesn't have the information. He's probably correct. But the detective sergeant that I've spoken to about the information that I gave the fraud department in Perth, he told me that
your 5 minutes is up. Can you just summarise that, please?
I'll summarise. I'll be gone in a few seconds. He told me that he has submitted that information to the Department of Local Government, the Director General of Local Government. So I believe the police. I think they got it. But today I did receive the from the CCC. At about 3 o'clock this afternoon, confirmation that they are investigating that information.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. So, any more public statements at all? Ms. Moray, please come forward, state your name and address.
Name Moray Glow, address 8/8 Anderson Street. The reason I came along tonight is not because of the special meeting or this meeting. In essence, it's because of what happened at last month's council meeting. I watched it online and I was absolutely horrified at what happened in this room and horrified that the Mayor didn't take it upon himself to stop the tirade that came from the floor on about a member of the public in Port Hedland. The lack of dignity, the lack of respect, the reputational damage to this town, and thank you to Councillor Cole for actually speaking up at the time. But having watched that, I made the decision that I am going to start to pay attention to what is happening at council level. I agree with the last speaker that the lack of debate on any issues over the last couple of years has absolutely alarmed me. I would tell Councillor Eckert that I do not have an agenda. I do not have an axe to grind, only to represent my views as to when I am actually alarmed as to what is happening in this town, and especially what is happening in this organisation that represents this town. What has been transpiring in the national newspaper, the only national newspaper in Australia all week, is very detrimental to the reputation of the town. I do not have an opinion on whether it is right or wrong, but no doubt that will come out in the wash. But I've had a simple question to ask of the Mayor all year, just knowing that he's in the aviation industry, and I wondered why on earth he'd put himself on the airport committee. I would have thought that that was really a simple conflict of interest. Representing, I would think, the town and all issues to do with the airport. These are the issues that are of concern to the ratepayers in this town. There's a lot of people in this room tonight, and I would ask them all maybe that they do not make this evening an exception, but that we actually continue to come along and we continue to ask the hard questions of the Mayor and the councillors going forward, because we actually, as a community, need to take ownership as well and play our part in ensuring that the future direction that this town goes in is of benefit to the town and not the shambles that we've actually had to put up with as a community over the last few years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, Gloria, please come forward. State your name and address the record, please. Thank you.
Gloria Jacobs, 76 Sutherland Street. And I too would like to commend the statements, while I don't agree with everything all the time, made by the two previous speakers, but certainly Milo. Milo, you forgot to mention that the presiding member not only does not have a good grasp of how to preside over meetings, but he clearly doesn't know how his own vote goes. I would also applaud the arguments or the councillors that requested the special meeting. Your request to review the audit process is a sound request. It's a request to improve processes, it's a request to improve policy and how operations are made. Tonight, Council will deliberate on awarding tenders for millions of dollars worth of projects. It's an indictment that Council executives and operations have chosen not to take advantage of reviewing the process to ensure best practices are moving forward. So I'm sad for that. On a second statement, specifically to you, Mayor Carter, I address this to you in particular. You ran a campaign based on being a mayor with vision and passion. Here it is. For those of you that didn't know, I kept it. Vision and passion. Presently, based on reports of which I understand there is evidence to support, if we are to believe these reports, clearly you omitted to include that both your vision and passion was not only for the town, but for your self-interest and the advancement of your own business ventures. In only your second month as the newly elected mayor, you have placed the town in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. You've shown a major lack of regard for our community and the town by your lack of understanding and empathy for some people in our community, in particular girl Victor's plight. And your improper and reportedly dishonest and unethical behaviour, for whatever your fraud reasoning is to justify yourself, has brought disrepute and long-term repercussions. Your antics will continue to have on the town and its future interests in building strong relationships with industry, state and federal governments. This impact should not be underestimated. Councillors, you also have the right to request, to ask questions. And potentially this will present another reason for key stakeholders and in industry partners to not do business with the town of Port Hedland. Council and this town has borne the brunt and will continue to bear the burdens resulting from your antics and behaviour. When you read headlines such as, I've got it here, in very big font, Port Hedland Mayor kept mum on his Indigenous links. Big noting Port Hedland Mayor digs financial holes. Such positive media for a town that has so much potential, if only we could get the right leadership to actually lead this town in an open, transparent, accountable, respectful and responsible way. Mayor Carter, you have not displayed any of those. And given this, I would respectfully ask why you won't put the interests of this town and its community ahead of your own self-interest and resign as mayor. I expect not to get an answer because we're in statement, but you would have said, no, I will not resign. So on that basis, councillors, you have a right to ask. You have a right to vote for a no confidence. The next 4 years of this is a debacle for the town. It is not visionary. It is not what the town of Port Hedland can be. Everyone talks about what we can be. We can't be under this leadership, under this mayor. A lot of you councillors are new and you need leadership and good guidance. You're not getting that.
Sorry, 5 minutes is up.
Of course it is.
You want to finish up?
You're not getting that at now, but you have it in your rights to demand more. Ask questions, and I implore you to do that.
Thank you. Any more public statements at all? Yes, Tracy, please come forward, state your name, address.
I'm Tracy Lee, Garban, and I'm at 2 Spatula Court, South Hedland. Just like the second last speaker, I watched my first council meeting online through the live streaming, and I was shocked and really disappointed. At one point I was really disgusted, and I just want to thank Renee Coles, councillor, for stepping in, Councillor Gillingham, and also Gloria as well. I want to thank the town of Port Hedland. I made a phone call to the governance section and they agreed that it should be censored. It was about a member of public, their personal medical information, and it should have been stopped. It should never have actually been spoken about, and I feel, as a ratepayer and a long-term member of this community, that something needs to be put in place so that doesn't happen again. My second statement is just regarding tonight and the amount of people who have come. We're all representing the public, and again, I'm very disappointed about the vote. We want transparency. You know, people who are concerned about relationships being divulged or financial decisions. I think it's really disappointing that that has happened. Everybody here is a person and everybody has things going on in their lives. I'm actually quite concerned about quite a few people on this council and how you're all feeling. So I hope there are supports for all of you in place, because I can only imagine the stress that you're under. But in saying that, I also hope that the town of Port Hedland has something in place to support the councillors who have been tried to be transparent tonight. I can see your frustrations. So Councillor Cole, thank you very much. Councillor Christensen, there are so many people who are so proud of you. You're young compared to myself. You're obviously an up-and-coming leader and you've shown a lot of strength today. Councillor Bennett, thank you very much for your comments. And Councillor Gillingham, I see your frustration. So, and so does everybody here. So there was a lot of comments about it. So I really hope that there's something through the town of Port Hedland. So when you guys go home tonight and you're struggling through the next few weeks, you've got some sort of supports in place, because there's obviously divisions going on and there's other things going on. So yeah, I just want you all to take care of yourselves, hoping that the town of Port Hedland has some sort of service to make sure that you're all being looked after.
Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, Gail, can you put your name and address, please, for the record? Thank you.
My name is Gail Victor. I have no fixed abode. I'm living in my car. I'd just like to read my statement now. That was not read at the last meeting. I too, before I start, would like to thank Gloria, Renee, Coles and Tracy for their comments. I too saw that online and was totally disgusted that the mayor allowed something like that to be, that had nothing to do with council, and did not stop it. So my statement, my name is Gail Victor. I came to the meeting earlier the month, that would have been in November, and said I had become homeless. Other people questioned the mayor on things that I had said the same night. He suggested I was not telling the truth. I do not lie. I am in a very stressful situation and I would never wish upon anybody. But every time I talked to the mayor, I kept on getting the same responses from him, and I don't want to live under a tree, or I'm not ready to die yet. I don't know what we can do or who will help us if the council is not going to help. The mayor's response to the community on ABC radio suggested he had spoken to me personally and apologised. He had not contacted me or left a message, or I had no missed calls from the mayor. The town and the mayor's media responses was a carefully crafted excuse, not an apology. In addition to this, I will just add to this, this past Monday, I was tracked down by the South Hedland detectives who had said the mayor wanted me charged with a criminal offence for recording our conversation. Which was about housing, in fact, and has been for the last 6 months, and where I would stay. I recorded the conversation because I was in a very scary and threatening situation, and under the law, I'm allowed to do that. So, no place to live, on the street, and a mayor that changes his response every time we talk. The town of Port Hedland had one meeting with me, and that was with Joe, a week after my initial statement to the town. And no subsequent meetings, as stated in the CEO's email to me. These areas of community responsibility like affordable housing are bestowed on you to come up with sensible solutions. It may not be your mandate as a local government, but it is your duty to inform the government and to fight for basic human rights of the people to have a roof over their head. And if you cannot do these basic needs, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm still homeless, still living in my car. But my resolve is getting stronger. I will be coming to these meetings when I am not in hospital, and I will be reminding you that I and many others are still living in the street. People will know you do nothing to repair the homeless situation through affordable housing, a retirement village for myself and people of your town. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Can you please state your name and address to the record, please?
Salona Pitt, 3 Jurapika Court, South Headland. So following tonight's meeting, I wasn't going to make a public statement, but I would like to, particularly in regards to the Mayor coming out now that he's Aboriginal, and as an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander woman myself, I was actually quite surprised knowing that I'd served on council with him, and never during that time as councillors did he ever disclose that he was Aboriginal. And now to actually read in the tabloids and newspapers to set up a charitable trust under ORIC as an Aboriginal corporation, I think it's quite disgusting and disgraceful that you would use your own selfish business needs to exploit Aboriginal people and funding as well. And I just don't think that you are fit enough to be the Mayor, and I would highly ask the council to consider putting a vote of no confidence into the Mayor, or looking into, because reading all of these things, even the registrations under ORIC, the corporation, there is no declaration of what language group you are from. And culturally, when Aboriginal people and Islander people first meet each other, that is how they find their common ground. They ask, who's your mob? And then you say where you're from. Never at any time. There's been comments from people in the community who have also said that. Have you ever participated in any type of Aboriginal community groups, workshops, meetings, activities, any type of things like that? And there's enough of that type of stuff going on, not just in this town, but across Australia. People exploiting Aboriginal disadvantage to gain financial interest, and to have a Mayor who is doing that, I think is disgraceful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public statements at all? Yes, please come forward, state your name and address, please.
Paul, I live in Wedgfield, 12 Shillerman Street. I'd just like to remind the councillors, you voted by us as the populace to bring you into power for our good, not for your good. You know what I mean? All of you. You know, if this, whatever's in the paper, no disregard, but all of you are empowered to look after us, not your own selves, your own pockets and your own mates. It's disgusting. I've lived here since 1972 and I've never seen such a ridiculous situation ever. And all that time, you know, I live by myself, nice and quietly by myself. I don't very often come here because it's pointless. But this is outrageous. You know, what's happened today, a lot of the other people around here, it's outrageous. And you voted by us to look after us. And that's what I've got to say.
Thank you.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, Louise, can you please come forward, state your name and address, please?
Louise Newbury, 55 Red Bank Road. The recent advertising this week in The Australian has highly alarmed a lot of people in town. Are very concerned that we are being thrown into turmoil Australian-wide. It is an embarrassment. To read a lot of it, I would seriously have to say that I believe that the Mayor, we need to medically check you out. I can't explain how embarrassed. I've known about a few of these projects. I actually have to ring the Australian because there's a couple of business ventures that I know about that they haven't still stated about. So to hear all the rest of them, I was like, I think the Mayor should take the option of what the Australian said and go into selling children's stories. That might be the business that you might make money in. But anyway, for those councillors, under the Town of Port Hedland Code of Conduct, only just adopted this year on 28th of April, so the Mayor should be fully aware of what the Code of Conduct is to guide behaviour of council members you have breached. 4.1e, avoid damage to the reputation of the local government. 18, securing personal advantage or disadvantaging others. 1A, to gain directly. To cause detriment, 1B, to cause detriment to the local government or any other position. You have used your position as Mayor to gain, but unfortunately still hasn't worked it out, and caused the office into disrepute. I would seriously think of standing down, Mr. Carter, before it all comes out. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your statement. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, Lorraine, can you please come forward, state your name and address, please, for the record?
Lorraine Butson, 50 Green Place, South Hedland. This is going to be a statement, and I would hope that the CEO is going to do about it. I actually work in my daughter's shop in South Hedland, and I also am a nurse at the Hedland Health Campus and have been there for 45 years. Recently, over the last couple of months, there has actually people been coming to me and asking questions about things that I have actually asked at council, and things that are actually being discussed in the Mayor's offices, offices, his business in South Hedland. Now, there's a few things that have come to council that are meant to be confidential, but I've actually had business people coming to me and asking me questions. Number one would be, is the Town of Port Hedland going to be buying, this is what I was asked, is the Town of Port Hedland buying back the Bunnings off the block opposite the Puma service station for $400,000, and they're going to build a shed on it and they're going to lease it back to Bunnings. Number two is that the Columbia, has the Mayor ever sat down with any of them, except for the Kariyarra people, who is actually is a friend of the CEOs of Kariyarra people? Has he spoken to any of the other tribal elders actually on his Indigenous Columbia corporation? And why did he not use his own two children in there instead of actually using his nephew? Number three, I actually had asking about the Lodge Motel and the relationship with Mugme. Also that there was another council involved that they would be making agreements in there on employment of staff, etc. There's a lot of other things that have actually come to council. The other thing was that too, I had a businessman ask me a personal question on that. He was very worried when he had spoken to the Mayor, or the Mayor had spoken to him in fact, that he had $400 million from corporation or wherever he's got this from. And this person was very, very worried, and he's a very, very good business person and a lawyer, of where this $400,000 was coming from. Unfortunately, back in June, on June the 17th of 2021, he registered Columbia Corporation. And I first then turned around and said, what is he up to? There is a lot more issues of businesses, and I would hope that a lot of confidential things. The airport with De Grey Mining. I had a business, the same business person come to me before it even came to council and said, do you know anything about an airport that's being built 45 kilometres out of town? Before every one of you councillors even knew about it. And I asked the question. No one knew about it, and it was brought to council later. I thought that the idea of the Mayor is actually to, with his councillors, discuss these issues before they go out instead of being done at Pilbara Photographics. I said any meetings that should be there to do with this council should be held in his offices out there, and it should be not as a public business dealings being done in Pilbara Photographics in South Hedland. So I would encourage the CEO to please look into the confidential stuff that is actually being said in South Headland.
Thank you. Any more public statements at all? Yes. Can you please come forward, state your name and address, please?
My name is Natalie Chowell. I live at 26 Bottlebrush Crescent in South Headland. My statement is, what are you going to do about the 54% of people that are unvaccinated in the Pilbara with their freedom of rights? It's an important question.
It's a statement.
It's a statement, yes. Thank you for correcting me. And it's the first time to council, and I'm absolutely appalled of what I've heard tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any more public statements at all? Can you please come forward, state your name and address, please, for the record? Thank you.
My name is Mary Wynne. I live at 5 Finch Court in South Headland. I would like to make the following statement. Mayor Carter, Deputy Mayor Turner, CEO, councillors. Mayor Eckhart, I apologise, Councillor Eckhart, I can completely support your statement that this appears to be a witch hunt. There appears to be an enormous amount of the general public here to basically beg the mayor. Mayor Carter, I absolutely support your decision not to resign. You have vision, and yet, despite all the criticism that is offered to you, you continue to serve the town of Port Hedland. Thank you.
Thank you for your statement. Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Can you please come forward, state your name, address, the record, please?
Nicola Jacob, 76 Sutherland Street, Port Hedland. After hearing everybody's comments and statements tonight, I would actually agree that councillors that we have actually voted on to this council to serve the town of Port Hedland think very deeply about how they are going to serve the town of Port Hedland and whether this mayor is the right mayor to be able to actually serve us as well. He has not shown very much, he hasn't shown us that we can trust him and that he is loyal. And I'm sorry, but having somebody come up here and preen his feathers every council meeting in statement time isn't showing trust and loyalty either. So really do think about the vote of no confidence. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your statement. Do you have any more public statements at all? Okay, we'll close public statement at 6:45 p.m. Okay, 6.3. Petition deputations, presentations and submissions. We received one request for one deputation. This applicant has been received in accordance with Standing Orders 6.10 from Ms Bronwyn Campbell on behalf of De Grey Mining Proprietary Limited in relation to item 11.3.3 on the agenda. Ms Campbell, you're invited to come forward, address the council for up to 10 minutes, please.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Carter, Deputy Mayor, councillors, thanks very much for having me. Public. I don't think I'll need 10 minutes, but just wanted to make a few points. So De Grey is, well, I'm always going to say it, but De Grey is a very exciting project, I feel, for the region. Gold, so coming away from iron ore, we are not coming away from iron ore, but certainly to the diversification of the region, I hope, with a exciting gold project. We've had a bit of a process so this one is particularly about the camp and the airstrip. I think it's the airstrip that's more controversial than the camp. The camp we
we need to have, and I think everyone's sort of across that. I just want to, I guess, point out that we've had quite a few sort of opportunities to talk to council and to speak to councils individually, and to Mayor Carter and Carl, to you as well. I think we've provided all the information that's been requested of us. You guys understand that our position is very much, in terms of the airstrip, very much about safety. That's a huge one for us. And I think too, it's probably worth pointing out, not that I want to cause any controversy, but the objections, so Carl, you would have received my letter early this morning that I sent through, just to try and be really clear about the process that we've gone through to work with you guys to provide as much information as possible. Everything that, when we talk about the project, this Malina Gold project, the delays that the objections that the town of Port Hedland are placing on all of our applications, so it's our mining lease applications, our miscellaneous licence applications, that kind of thing. On one hand, we're talking about how exciting the project is for the region, and then on the other hand, we're getting all these objections coming through to all our applications. So I really understand from the town's perspective why that's important, and that it's important to get De Grey to the table to have a discussion around how we can work together, how we can align in the future. I think that we've done that. I think we've had that conversation, and we've provided the opportunity to discuss the whole thing. So I just wanted to, I guess, make clear that this is not really about approving or not approving the De Grey airstrip. It's more about removing the objection to that miscellaneous lease so that we can actually continue on with the project. There are so many options for us to work together in the future, and for De Grey to provide assistance or work with the town of Port Hedland on your priorities. But all the objections are just causing delays to our lease applications, and I think it's that, if the objections don't get removed from this particular miscellaneous licence application, we're then heading down a Warden's Court process, which is, very timely and very costly for both parties, which we certainly don't want. My understanding is that the location of the proposed airstrip and camp is on Mining Act tenure anyway, so not within this jurisdiction. So we're really hoping that, we're obviously hoping that the town of Port Hedland will remove its objections for the airstrip and camp, and that we'll be able to talk. I know we've had a discussion around the Capital Works program and what the town of Port Hedland are looking to do in the future around some really exciting projects. We definitely want to be part of that at some point, but as I pointed out in my letter, Carl, we just don't have a producing asset. We don't have a producing asset for a long time. At this point, we're not a funded project. We don't have that security to know where we're at this point, and we're way off that. So, all of these objections are really just holding up the whole approval of the project, which is ultimately going to benefit the town of Port Hedland, I hope, in many ways in the future. So I know it's probably, it is what it is, but I'm here to just, I hope that you guys will remove the objection you have to the airstrip. The airstrip will be, if it's not our own airstrip, which of course we also need to get gold in and out, but gold's a very different commodity to iron ore. We need a way to get our gold out, security, all that sort of stuff, RTS, security, Great Northern Highway, we've talked about all that stuff. And I think that's probably it. I don't want to go on about it for too long, but I want to also reiterate that we're very, we all know we're happy and we are to have a great relationship with you all going forward, and to see the development of the town of Port Hedland go to bigger and better things and do amazing stuff. So I'm just respectfully asking that the objections.
Okay, thank you, Ms Campbell. Item number 7, question for members without notice. Any questions or elected members?
Yes, thank you through the
Councillor
chair.
Milligan, yes.
With regard to the unconfirmed minutes, I know that is coming up very shortly, but I would like to request that as a member of the public, Mrs. Gail Victor was unable to be present at the last meeting where she wanted to read, and she sent her question in. It wasn't read under a particular note, that another letter was actually read out by our member Mary. Apologies for you not having a surname there, Mary Wynne, and read out a letter that was from Mrs. Rhonda Power, who actually lived with her family from 2001 to 2010 in Port Hedland. I knew Mrs. Power and her family very well, but was not present either to read the letter out. So I understand there's a bit of a controversy with that, and I would like to think that we would be putting that letter of Mrs. Gail Victor's into the minutes and adjusting some things with Mary Wynne's actual, the unconformed minutes with the public question time and public statement time, as there were some remarks there that should really have been removed, and perhaps removing the whole of the statement may be the way to go, but that's a question I'd like to ask if that could happen. And I know I'm very happy to take that on notice through the chair, Mayor. Something very different, my second question is the area next to the roundabout in Cook Point, where it splits from McGregor Street to Athol Street and to Cook Point Drive, where the waterboard area could, perhaps through the chair, the directors may be able to help me, is that vacant bit of land there, which is part on the left-hand side of the Athol Street, vacant area by the water board. Does it belong to the water board? Does it belong to the council? Because there was a lot of cutting of all the trees down and everything this week, which was very disturbing. And I would just like to find out, firstly, who owns that land and who would have sort of asked for that to be processed with everything to do with the trees. So if I could ask through the chair to perhaps one of our directors or one of our officers, please.
Take it on notice. I don't know the answer tonight, Councillor, but I'm happy to find out and let Council know.
I would just like to ask then, is it possible that one of our directors or officers may know?
No, we'll take that on notice.
So yesterday the bulldozer was just ripping all the trees down. Now, some of those trees were the coffee trees, and I'd like to ask them who, with you taking this on notice, who authorised that? Was it the water board? Was it our council? And was any consideration given to the native flora and fauna that are there? And there's no shade at all for those animals, those reptiles, those frogs, those birds. It's actually a rookery for our seabirds there, our young sea, our young kestrels, etc., young eagles and that. And they have nowhere to shelter now in we have 45, 50 degree heat coming up on this Sunday. There are some trees still left there, and I would hope that it would still please come to council, because I did ask for notice on trees being pruned recently in South Hedland. I did get that reply through the chair, but I just think, could this please come to council at another time so that we can please find out. I've had so many phone calls about those areas where they were just totally bulldozed down. So,
okay, thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take that on notice, thank you. Any other questions about those questions?
No, thank you.
Any other questions from council? No, thank you. Item 8, announcement by presiding member of that discussion. Presiding members' meetings on the 11th of November 2021 to 30th of November 2021 are detailed within the agenda and are printed in the minutes. Item 9, declarations from all members have given due consideration to all matters contained in the business paper beforehand. I invite all the members to declare by a show of hands that they have given all due consideration to all matters contained within the agenda. We have a show of hands, please. Thank you. 8-0, thank you. Item 10, confirmation of previous meetings. We have offered a recommendation before us. The minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 24th of November 2021 are a true and correct record. Can I have a mover, please?
And just through the chair, I'd like to get confirmation regarding Mrs. Victor's letter has not been printed, and some noting of Mary Wynn's statement and public questions should be omitted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Okay, can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Coles. May I have a seconder, please? Second, Councillor Turner, thank you. Are there any questions? Anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. Before we move on to office reports, I remind members of the public not to take any action on council's decision on items on this evening's agenda which they may have an interest in, until formally notified in writing by the town has been received. Decisions made at this meeting can be revoked in line with the Local Government Act 1995. Before we move to item 11, reports from officers, a note from the CEO administration that item 11.3.2 has been withdrawn and will not be considered in tonight's agenda. I'll move on to item 11.3.3, mining tenement L45, L35, 635, proposed aerodrome workforce accommodation, and item 11.4, financial statement. Financial statements for the year 2020-2021 to be considered as the next item of business. Can I have a mover in those forward, please? Councillor Zilke, thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Eckert, thank you. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? Okay, the motion is carried. Declare the carry without debate. Okay, item 11.3.3.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that 11.3.3, the mining tenement proposed aerodrome and workforce accommodation, be put up. I've got an alternate motion which won't materially change much from the officer's recommendation, but I also like to foreshadow that if my motion to defer or to as an alternate motion is unsuccessful, that we return to the officer recommendation.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Okay, so the motion's up on the screen there, you can read that.
Just before you start, through the chair, with regards to agenda item 11.3.3, the proposed aerodrome and work accommodation, that I disclose that I have a financial interest and I need to be removed from the meeting, please.
Okay, thank you, Councillor.
So, Mr. Mayor, would you like me to read my alternate motion?
Wait till the doors get closed. Okay, Councillor, you can read your...
I'll table this alternate motion. The council maintain the town's objections to miscellaneous licence L45/635 on the grounds that council does not support an aerodrome and workforce accommodation within the proposed miscellaneous licence area in the absence of receiving a commitment from the proponent to achieve local economic and social benefits for the project to the satisfaction of council, and 2, to authorise the CEO the power to enter into negotiations with the proponent relating to local economic and social benefits, and once an agreement is reached, report back to council prior to withdrawing any objections relating to the project.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Eckert. Do we have a second on that, please?
Seconded.
Second, Councillor Turner, thank you. Is anyone against?
Just point of clarification, could we see the actual officer's recommendation on the screen, please? Below. Yeah, thank you.
Is that okay, Councillor?
Oh. I'm not moving, seconded, sorry. I believe you're waiting for a seconder, is that right?
No, Councillor Turner's already seconded
So
it.
I'm against.
Against, okay. Okay, we'll go into a debate. Okay, Councillor Eckhart.
Recently we had a deputation from Bronwyn and Andrew from De Grey, and it was very thorough. Thank you very much for coming along. However, we did mention at that meeting that we would like to see some social and economic benefits to the town before we considered removing the objections, and I know you've spoken again tonight. You indicated at the time that you would be prepared to sit down with the council and have a look at a list of wants, and to date that hasn't happened. I agree, I understand it hasn't been that long since last time you spoke to us to now, and there is a Warden's Court application in as well, and you guys need to get some sort of certainty and clarification. But I feel that by amending or adjusting the officer's recommendation, we allow time between now and that Warden's Court hearing for the CEO to negotiate with De Grey to come to some sort of commitment, for want of a better term, for social and economic benefits to the town, rather than just withdraw the objections.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Turner.
Well, I concur with Councillor Eckhart. I too also appreciate the presentations that have been made by De Grey, and I have every confidence that they truly want to make a significant investment and contribution to the town of Port Hedland. I think there's a requirement though by council to make a statement, to take a position. What I am prepared to do is to support this motion to give time for the CEO to have those conversations and have those discussions whilst this process is in place. There's a requirement that we start to, really secure that investment that is going to give us the economic and social return that this town deserves, and I have every confidence that De Grey will provide that into the future. But I think we need to work through this process and give the CEO time.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Turner. Thank you. Councillor Gillingham.
Oh yes, through the chair. I'm just concerned about the second motion, the second part of the alternate motion with the ending report back to council prior to withdrawing any objections relating to the project. Can I just have clarification on that, please?
Councillor, perhaps my comment would be, obviously you're aware and the comment has been made, it's due to go to the Warden's Court probably in late January. And obviously our objections at an administrative level have been put there. We haven't put a council objection there at this point in time. And so obviously the view and of the councillor, I'm speaking for the councillor in terms of his motion, apologies councillor, is that some form of a report comes back to council before that occurs. Councillor Echo.
Thank you, CEO. Yeah, we do need to, as the CEO said, there is a Warden's Court hearing due before the end of January, and our next council meeting is not until February, which means we won't be able to, or next scheduled meeting is not until the start of February, which means we won't get a chance before then to fully look through what De Grey can provide for us and what we want from De Grey. So with the second part of the motion, the alternate motion for the CEO to go into bat for us over the next 3 or 4 weeks to work out a mutually acceptable solution for the town and for De Grey before it heads to the Warden's Court. As the CEO said, there's been an administrative objection, but not a council objection yet. So we're asking tonight for you to support this motion so that we still have, for want of a better term, a wriggle room before it goes to the Warden's Court, and it's just basically said, no, De Grey gets it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Anyone else for the motion? Anyone else against the motion? Okay, Councillor Urquhart, do you want to sum up? Okay, thank you, Councillor. Motion, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what we're doing now, we're actually going to go to the vote on Councillor Urquhart's motions. Can I have a vote for Councillor? Vote for Councillor Urquhart. Eight. Those against? Was it? Motion was carried unanimously. Open the door and let yeah, Councillor, okay, we've actually going with the Councillor Urquhart's recommendations for the CEO to negotiate with De Grey Mining over the next 3 weeks before it gets off to the Warden's Court. Okay, item 12.4, where offers recommendation that Council receives and adopts the audit financial report, independent audit report, closing report, and management letter audit findings for the financial year ending 30 June 2021. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? Is the motion not opposed? It's carried 8-0. Okay, we now want to move on to item 11, office reports. Office reports. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 8 or 9 items here which we're going to do en bloc. We're going to read the item numbers out, which make it all simple majorities. I'll read the items out so the councillors understand. Yeah, I think councillors have a copy. Yeah. Is there any of those items on there you'd like to withdraw?
Mayor, through the chair, I'd like to see if we can remove 11.4.2 for the conversation, please.
Oh, that's okay. Yes, we'll put it forward. Yeah. Is there any others at all? Okay, so. Okay, can we get a mover, please, to go on block, please? Move. Yep. Thank you, Councillor Turner. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Yeah. So the items that we're ready on block are 11.1.1, 11.1.2, 11.1.3, 11.1.4, 11.1.5, 11.1.6, 11.4.2 has been withdrawn, 11.4.3, 11.4.5, 11.4.6, 11.5.1 and 11.5.3. Yeah. Okay, can I have a mover and a seconder, please, for those? Councillor Turner. Yep. Seconder. Yep. Is anyone against the motion? No. Okay, as motions pass 8-0. 9-0. Yep. Okay, 11.2 Community Services, 11.2.1 the Town of Port Hedland Youth Summer Strategy. We have two offers recommendations before us. The first one being that Council, 1, notes the Christmas Holiday Youth Program and attachments. 2, provide the provision of free access to all persons under the age of 16 to the Southend Aquatic Centre, SHAC, for the dates Saturday the 18th of December 2021 till Sunday the 30th of January 2022, inclusive, and item 3, note additional security will be engaged at SHAC and JD Hardy's to assist during these times. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Zuki, thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Urquhart. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. We have a second officer's recommendation that Council amend the 2021-22 budget by allocating $184,100 for the from the strategic reserves to the operating budget in order to facilitate Christmas holidays, nighttime security patrols. Can I have a mover, please?
Point of order through the chair first.
Yes.
During the briefing, there was a question put to Council requesting that there be a second option taken into consideration. Has their consideration been done, and have we got any information responding to that before we vote, please?
Apologies, can you repeat the question, sorry?
So during our briefing, there was a discussion around that this is one suggestion that we do patrols. The second option was that we look at the surveillance TVs and supply an individual to help monitor that to help alleviate the need to drive. Was that followed up? Because the request was that we follow up to see if we could actually partake in that system.
Sorry, through the chair, so we've got the security patrols is obviously one piece, which is this piece. We've got our contractors to do with CCTV up at the moment, so they're doing a review of our cameras and also our system, as well as doing maintenance and monitoring. So we look to adding particular cameras in certain areas. We're also investigating at the moment, we're waiting on the state government to release a project in terms of supporting local residents with CCTV purchases. So we have money on budget for that as a sort of a matching fund arrangement. So you'd get money from the government for the CCTV purchase or security purchase, whether it's cameras, alarm systems, things of that nature, and then we'll provide a similar amount to support that.
Thank you.
I think the answer to the question is no. We haven't had sufficient time to actually organise camera surveillance as requested.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bennett. Can I have a seconder, please? Yep, Councillor Turner. This vote requires absolute majority. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Has there any consideration been given to adjusting the hours from what appears in our notes from 4 to 4 to the suggested 5 to 5?
Correct.
Through the chair, yes, we've been in contact with the security consultant who has confirmed he can do 5 to 5 as requested.
Can we then adjust that in our papers then, please?
Sorry, Councillor. It is an administrative issue. It's written in the report. It's not in the resolution. I'm happy to take it and manage it administratively. If you want to pass it as an amendment, you could also move it as an amendment.
If it's on the administrative papers, I'll leave that with you to adjust, please.
Thank you, Councillor. Are there any more questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare absolute majority 8-0. (11.3.1). We have office recommendation that council endorse and give notice to propose amendments to the 21-2022 fees and charges, schedules of details in the attachment. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Zelke. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Bennett. This requires absolute majority. Are there any questions?
Yes, question on myself again. In the same meeting, we requested a clarification on, is this the same one where we have a charge and a fee for $2.50 for a hire of a court? Has that been removed since our previous conversation?
Joe.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So please correct me if I'm wrong. There's been a few agenda items. I believe in this briefing we were discussed where one of the fees and charges we did want to charge was a $2.50 hiring fee due to the resurfacing of the basketball court.
Yep.
I raised a concern saying that I believe that would be insufficient to even cover the administration to cover that expense, and I asked if we could potentially look at that, removing that if we wanted to, if we could, please.
Well, no, that stays in, so it's $5 for commercial, and then it is current practice that for community is usually 50% of commercial, so we would put that fee at $2.50.
So I'll ask to move to make an amendment, if we can, please, to remove that from the item.
That's noted, thank you.
Do you wish to move it as an amendment, Councillor?
Happy to do that, yes.
Can I have a second on that, please?
Happy to second.
You moved it. So Councillor Christian moved it and Councillor Zelke seconded it. Okay. Are there any call questions? Is anyone against the motion?
Clarification, councillors, and I know the minute takers probably haven't written that in, but the motion is to remove the $2 fee, or the $2.50 fee for community, for the hire of the basketball courts.
Thank you, CEO. Okay, as the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. Yeah. Is there any other questions on that item at all? Okay, we'll move the officer recommendations as amended. All those in favour? Anyone against? Okay, it's carried. 8-0, thank you. Okay, 11.4 infrastructure services. 11.4.1 award of tender RFT 212205 Debit Master Plan Stage 2 Animal Management Facility Workshop Trade and Storage Sheds. We have office recommendation before us. The first being that Council approves the funding of $3 million for the animal management facility and workshop shade structures required in the financial year 2022-23 increased loan funding to $15 million. This requires absolute majority. Can I have a mover, please?
Can I have a point of clarification, please?
Yes,
The recommendation doesn't say approves, it says notes.
Correct, thank you. Thank you.
Happy to move it as approved.
Have the move as approved?
If you prefer.
Is that okay, Councillor? happy with that as approved?
Yeah, as long as it stays as notes, then sure, as long as we don't put approves in there.
Yeah. Fine, thank you. Can I have a mover, please? Yep.
Just to clarify, Mr Mayor, when you read out the recommendation, you said that council approves additional funding. But the recommendation is that council notes. So I will absolutely move that we note the additional funding.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Just by way of clarification, councillor, the reason you're noting it is that it relates to the 22-23 budget, and you will obviously get to approve that process later at the time.
Okay, thank you, councillor. Okay, can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, councillor Zucchi, thank you. Are there any more questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried absolutely 8-0. We have a second officer's recommendation that council accepts the tender submitted by councillors, before we go on the second item, do any of the councillors want to go behind closed doors before we announce the tender? Okay, thank you. Okay, we have an officer's recommendation that the council accepts the tender submitted by De Grey Civil Proprietary Limited for Part A in accordance with tender RFT 212205, Depot Master Plan Stage 2 for the total amount of $546,160 excluding GST. Can I have a mover, please? Okay, thank you, councillor Zucchi. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, councillor Turner. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. We have a third officer's recommendation that council accepts tender submitted by Pilbara Constructions for Part B and C in accordance with tender RFT 212205, the Depot Master Plan Stage 2 for the total amount of $3,117,303 excluding GST. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, councillor Gillingham. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, councillor Bennett. Are there any questions?
Sorry, just through the chair.
Yes.
I just want to make it known, like we've got talking about awarding tenders. We've just finished going through a whole award and tender process review. We were asking for that previously. I just wanted to be noted that was all, that here we are awarding tenders and we still have not really got our head around the whole point of what we originally started in regards to a tender review process. Sorry, that was just one quick one.
Okay.
I'd just like to point through the chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, councillor Coles. So if I move, I have a seconder. Questions, Cole? Is there any more questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. We have a fourth officer's recommendation that council declines all tenders submitted for Part D in accordance with tender RFT 212205, Depot Master Plan Stage 2. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, councillor Zucchi. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, councillor Christensen. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. 11.4.2, award of tender RFT 2021/28, the Port Hedland Community Centre construction. We have two offers of recommendations before us. The first one that gives Council the Chief Executive Officer delegated authority to negotiate and execute the contract with Demel Australia Proprietary Limited in accordance with tender RFT 2021/28 for the Port Hedland Community Centre construction, up to a maximum contract value of $18,120,528, excluding GST. Can I have a mover, please?
A point of clarification.
Yes, Councillor.
At briefings through the chair, it was noted that some of the organisations were just not happy with having this community centre, and just wanted to ask through the chair, has there been any more comeback on that, please? Perhaps one of our officers may know that through the chair.
CEO? Joe, probably not.
Through the chair, don't recall any discussions in relation to any community groups not being happy with the community centre. They have been engaged through the process, and we haven't received any feedback to state that there was any opposition in relation to the community centre.
Just wanted to ask then clarification on with the turf club. Are they very happy to have this, or is there any interaction with the turf club because of the area where it's going to be? Thank you.
Yes, through the chair, as mentioned at the confidential briefing, the town has been engaging with the turf club and also with RAWA extensively over the past year. There has been a number of meetings that we have held here in Chambers, but also on site, and we have been actively working with the turf club to support them through the racing season next year, albeit through a temporary setup to allow for this project to go ahead, and those meetings are reflected in the officer's recommendation too, in terms of a financial contribution to the turf club, as discussed with and agreed with by officers with the turf club.
Okay, thank you. Does that answer your question, Councillor?
Yeah, so when we get to officers recommending to through the chair, I'd just like to talk a little bit more on that.
That's fine, it's okay, thank you. Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Zook, thank you. Move a seconder, please. Happy. Councillor Turner, thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes, sorry, just through the chair again. As this is quite a large sum of money that we'll be spending upon this community centre, and I dare say that we're going to be closely monitored by the public even further now. I just want to point out that the tender review process, if we endorse that, basically, hopefully this will not end up any kind of way like the others, and hopefully our executive committee watches this very, very closely to ensure that once again we're not got egg on our face. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Coles. Is there anyone against the motion? Councillor Christian? Against it? Okay, Councillor Silky? For
We've been talking about this for a while, and the fact that we were looking for primarily a dual function building as a community centre, as well as helping at the race course. So I support it to move ahead. There is also an addition of $10 million from the state government to help out with the $18 million price tag.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Christensen? Oh, Turner.
Yeah, look, I confirm with Councillor Zilke. We have a commitment of state government funding for $10 million. It has been a key piece of social infrastructure that's been identified over some time. I believe that the council itself, the Town of Port Hedland, have gone through significant consultations, and I think that's satisfactory for what is put forward for today.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Turner. Okay, Councillor Christensen.
Thank you, CEO. I guess it would be remiss of me if we don't, again, shadow the thoughts and discussions that have previously been had in relation to all tender processes going forward. Being this is a very large process, tender going forward, I believe it could foreshadow issues similar to those of the Blue Building, and I state that only from the fact that I have had contradicting conversations with user groups of that area. Again, I've tried pretty hard this week to try and touch base with these people yet again to confirm and get some information in a bit more detail into exactly how they're feeling and why in which they oppose the building. But the previous conversations I've had with them, they state that they feel that their opinions, their ideas, their thoughts have not been heard. They feel that the overall building, although nice in design, will lack in usability. There's been a few objections. I'm happy to take it on note and work with them again. But yet again, I'll reiterate, $18 million, although yes, $10 million has been confirmed by the state government. Question is in what way has that been confirmed? I'm curious to know how that, if anyone can answer that for me.
No, we've been liaising with the state government. It was announced by the state government in the last election, and obviously the follow-up to that is in the contract paperwork that needs to go through in an MOU.
So there's no paperwork in place yet apart from the MOU. So the last question, I guess, the last point I want to be making on this is usability is one thing. Yes, we've got some $10 million, but the question I put to the council is, if this $10 million did not arrive in our hand right now, would this building be getting put through? Would we be spending the money of our own money to make this happen? Is my concern, because if it was the case, I thought we would have spent money on this already to make it come through to fruition. So just trying to understand as to, is it just the purely fact of money, or are we happy to see that's going to come through?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else for the motion? Anyone else against? No? Councillor Zucker, you want to sum up for me?
I believe that at the moment the JD is the only community centre that we have in case of cyclones. We do need a facility in Port Hedland because, as those that have been here for a while, Port Hedland tends to get cut off during the high tides, and I believe that this building will be the main benefit of that.
Thank you, Councillor. Okay, those are 4. Councillor Bennett, you 4? 5. Those against? 3. Those motions carried 5-3. Thank you, councillors. We have a second office recommendation that council provide a one-off payment of $50,000, excluding GST, to the Port Hedland Turf Club to assist with the increased cost of running the 2022 race season during construction, to be funded from the 2022-23 budget. Councillor Gillingham, did you want to?
I just wanted to vote against the officer's recommendation, number 2.
Let's get a mover.
Yeah, I'll get a mover first.
Apologies.
Sorry. Okay, can I get a mover, please? Yeah, Councillor Bennett, thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Yeah, seconder. Councillor Turner, thank you. Are there any questions? Councillor Gillingham, did you have a question?
Sorry, question through the chair.
Sorry.
One concern I do have is, are we going to put a stipulation to this as to a bit more detail as to the reasons why we are providing the funding? Only because I think it might set a dangerous precedent going forward that potentially we may be willing to hand out large sums of money for what, for example?
I might leave it to the director to comment as well, but my understanding is this has been part of the negotiations with the Turf Club all along, and they have expressed some concerns over running next year's race season, and they will need some assistance with temporary equipment, and I think that's what the money is for, and that was their request to us. Director might comment.
Through the chair, if the council is to approve this tender tonight, that will mean that the existing turf club facility will have to be demolished in the new year, leaving the turf club with no amenity in which to operate from. So we have had these conversations with the turf club over the past year, and we have come to an agreement that we will support a local turf club as much as we can to ensure that they can actually not miss out on a racing season, considering what's happened with COVID in recent times. So we have had conversations with the turf club, who are required to meet standards set by RAWA, the Racing and Wagering WA, and the Australian Jockeys Association. So there is some infrastructure that needs to be in place to ensure standards and requirements are met by RAWA, and as such some temporary facilities need to be hired. These being male jockey showers and ablutions, female jockey showers and ablutions, doctors and stewards offices, and a secure TAB operations office. In addition, existing assets will also need to be relocated in order for the site to be cleared for the earthworks for the new facility. So the $50,000 amount at the moment should be able to assist with removal and relocation of existing assets, as well as higher mobilisation and demobilisation of temporary facilities required for the temporary season.
Thank you. Councillor Bennett, do you want to speak to the motion, please?
Yeah, so I'm for it, basically with going through everything and they needing the assistant. I do have to say though with Councillor Christensen that, yeah, the stipulation in there, but as Joe's just clarified, yeah, just for it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bennett. Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Joe, for the summary. I thought it was, quite evident. I think, there is a concern that around precedents, but I think this is an exceptional case. I think the 50,000 needed to actually, maintain the continuity of the event, what it means for the community. Again, the impact of COVID and what that has meant for the racing industry and what it's meant for our community. So, I fully support the payment as a one-off and I support the motion.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillor Gillingham.
Oh yes, thank you, through the chair. It just concerns me that, yes, the one-off payment, $50,000. Look, I don't have any figures on the races, how much they earn. Are there 6 or 7 races per year? Look, everybody enjoys going to the races, etc. But there are lots of other groups in our town that, when they learn of this $50,000, I just think that they're going to be knocking on our door. And we're setting a precedence here. We are really setting a precedence. So I just think this is something which should have been really, really thought of and come to us earlier so that we could possibly have had some more different negotiations, better negotiations with the Turf Club, because I really think letting this recommendation go through could be setting a precedence for several sporting groups or non-profit organisations, because they earn a lot of money with the race course. So I'm concerned about this $50,000.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Gillingham. Is anyone else for? Yes, Councillor Eckhart.
As Director Joe has said, the $50,000 basically goes towards facilities. Now, the Port Hedland Turf Club, with the demolition of the current buildings down there, will be without the fundamentals as set aside by the racing governing body. Now, yes, I understand your concerns about precedents and stuff like that, but if there is another sporting group that will have their total facilities taken away and not given some assistance to replace the minimum standards, change rooms and showers for both male and female jockeys, including toilets, doctors and stewards' facilities, which are, as we said, are a minimum requirement, then we will not have racing up here, regardless. They don't make a ton of money. A lot of the money that comes through the gate goes in paying for stewards, for Racing and Wagering WA to send officials here, to pay the jockeys through the income generated by trainers nominating and racing their horses. So it's not a huge margin that the Port Hedland Turf Club is going to make year on year. $50,000 will be the bare minimum required to get those basic standards as set aside by Racing and Wagering WA. And if those basic standards are not met, then the PHTC will not have a race meeting in 2022.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Anyone else for or against?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councillor.
So going forward on this, quick question in relation to not so much the precedent, but the concern now that I have is that I know for a fact that we have done something very similar in the past where we have, and I'm happy to be corrected again, but off the top of my head, I do remember that we have paid for their portaloos down there, the big portaloos, and I believe it came at a cost of $30,000 last year, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I looked at the paperwork. My concern again comes down to a few matters. Although it may seem like a large sum of money, are the buildings going to remain up consistently? Is this going to cover all those buildings? And we're confident that this is going to cover all those buildings, including the sewage, the waters, the power. As we all just established with all of our tenders throughout the process, those labours are now becoming quite recently expensive again and again and again. So I just want to make sure, being it's going to be a one-time only opportunity for these people, that we actually do our due diligence to ensure that $50,000 is A, adequate, and B, going to be 110% exactly what they require.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christian. Any more for? Any more for against? Okay, we'll now put it to the vote. Councillor Bennett, yeah, you can sum up. You can just sum up your motion.
So basically just going forward with the whole facilities and everything, moving forward, we've got to, knocking down the building, they obviously require facilities to move forward. Given that also, as Joe summarised too, with COVID missing out, we don't want that happening again. Yeah, so I support the motion.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bennett. We'll now put it to the vote. Those all in favour? Everyone? Yep. Thank you, councillors. As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. Okay, moving on to 11.4.4, award of tender RFT 212207 cleaning contract. We have 3 offers of recommendations before us. The first one being that council amend the 2021-22 budget to increase the cleaning budget from $480,000 to $700,000 to be funded from the operational budget as part as a second quarter budget review. This requires absolute majority. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Urquhart. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. We have a second officer's recommendation that council accepts the tender submitted by Pressure Force, Port Hedland, in accordance with tender RFT 212207 cleaning services for Part A of the Town of Port Hedland's buildings for the total amount of $670,047 per annum, excluding GST, for work specified in the recommendations. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Bennett, thank you. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. We have a third officer's recommendation that council accepts a tender submitted by Pressure Force Port Hedland in accordance with tender RFT 212207 cleaning services for Part B for the Town of Port Hedland's buildings for a total amount of $485,789 per annum, excluding GST, for work specified in the recommendations. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Zielke. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Christensen, thank you. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. Yeah. Yep. Item 11.5.2, adoption of the 2020-21 annual report and setting the dates for the annual general meeting of electors. We have offer's recommendation that Council 1 adopts the 2020-21 annual report, including the annual financial statement and associated notes as per attachment 1 in accordance with section 5.53 of the Local Government Act 1995. And 2, advertise the annual general meeting of electors given at least 14 days public notice in accordance with section 5.29 of the Local Government Act 1995. And 3, convene the annual general meeting of electors at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, the 2nd of February 2022 in the Council Chambers of the Civic Centre. And 4, advertise the availability of the 2021 annual report according to sections 5.55 of the Local Government Act 1995. This requires absolute majority vote. Can I have a mover, please?
Mayor, I'd like to propose an amendment to point 3, if I may.
Yes, Councillor.
To have it read, convene the annual general meeting of electors at 7:30 p.m. or at the conclusion of the ordinary council meeting held that night, whichever comes first. We have an OCM that night, and there's no guarantee it's going to be finished at 7:30.
See, I do.
Councillor, if I can, just as an administrative comment, the difficulty without advertising a time is that people don't know when to turn up. If the meeting finishes early, or if the meeting goes late, probably okay. If the meeting finishes early and we commence the AGM, people may not be able to attend. So under normal circumstances, you should advertise date, date, time and venue. Yeah, that's my preferred advice at this point.
I'll withdraw the amendment.
Point of clarification. Through our briefings, we did discuss that the last date, I think, could be Wednesday the 9th. Is that right, the 9th of February?
Correct, Councillor.
And that could have been suitable. I know that through the Chair, CEO said we do spend a lot of time coming out to meetings, but if that's going to alleviate the problem, and that we go back to that meeting at 5:30, perhaps on the Wednesday the 9th, this could be the way to go. Yeah, but
I'm happy to leave it on the 2nd of February at 7:30.
Councillor, do you want to wish that move that as an amendment?
yeah, I'll move it as an amendment to change the date from the Wednesday the 2nd to the 9th. And then you can just have the 5:30.
Yeah, can I have a second on that?
Yeah, I'll second for the 9th, only because school goes back and a lot of people, I just rather not have too many, give everyone an opportunity to come here, because especially with school heading back, that first week is bedlam for anybody with young kids, and I think it's best that we do look at the alternative motion of having it the night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Coles. Is anyone against that motion? Okay, to declare it carried. So have a mover, please.
So now we need a mover for that with the amended date.
Yes.
It's now for the amended motion, which is
Motion.
dated 9th at 5:30.
Move it a second. We're moving it, Councillor? Okay, move it, Councillor Urquhart. Councillor Cole, seconded. Are there any other questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried. Absolute majority, 8-0. Yep. Okay, 11.5.4 National Housing Conference 2022. We have offered a recommendation that Council 1 nominate and approve the following: the Mayor to be nominated and elected members to attend the National Housing Summit Conference 2022 to be staged in Melbourne, Victoria, pending any COVID-19 restrictions placed at the time of travel. 2. Note that the CEO may appoint officers to attend the National Housing Conference on behalf of the town of Port Hedland. And 3. Note that the Mayor and Councillors must submit a report to the attendance of the Chief Executive Officer prior to the 4th of April 2022. Can I have a mover, please?
Shouldn't we try and get a nomination for someone in there?
No, we'll call for a nomination.
Okay. Nominations? What's the current nomination?
Look, I'd love to go, but I'm spending 14 days on my arse when I get back.
Just me. Oh.
Councillor Turner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mayor Cartney and myself.
Yourself.
Yep. Okay.
A mover and a seconder.
Yep. Okay. Can I have a mover, please? Move Councillor Turner. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Zulke. Any other questions? Is there anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0.
Congratulations.
Yeah. 12.1, the Audit, Risk and Compliance Committee meetings, 1 December 2021. We have an officer's recommendation that Council 1 receives the confirmed minutes of the Audit and Risk Compliance Committee held on the 10th of August 2021, and 2 receives the unconfirmed Audit, Risk and Compliance Committee meetings held on December the 1st 2021 at 5:30 p.m, exclusive of the following decision: A, 11.1.1, the 2022 Audit, Risk and Compliance Committee Work Plan, and B, 11.1.2, 2021 LGIS Worksafe Plan Audit, and C, 13.1 Financial Statements FY 2021. Can I have a mover, please? Move Councillor Turner, thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Zulke, thank you. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0.
Sorry, Mayor, just on that particular point, I'd just like to congratulate the Town of Port Hedland team, Finance and the Audit Risk team. There's some significant improvements that have been made over the last 2 years in terms of the way we're undertaking the audits. And in terms of the financial statements, it's some very strong performance. So well done to Town of Port Hedland.
Great, thank you, Councillor Turner. 12.2, the 2022 Audit and Risk Compliance Committee Work Plan. We have office recommendation that council endorses the Audit and Risk Compliance Committee Work Plan 2022 as per the attachment. Number 1, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Turner, thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Gillingham, thank you. Is any other questions? Is anyone against the motion? As motion not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. .3, the 2021 LGIS Workplace Plan Audit. We have officer's recommendation that council receives the LGIS 2021 WorkSafe Plan Audit Report as per attachment 1. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Zilke, thank you. Are there any questions? Is anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. Okay. Item 13, motion to approve the minute given, there is nil. Item 14, nature of urgent nature, late items. There are 2 late items to be considered on tonight's meetings. The first is regarding the water tender 20214 for the South Headland Skate Park shade structure. Can I have a mover to accept the late item, please? Councillor Bennett, thank you. May I have a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Zilke, thank you. Is there any dissent? All those in favour, show of hands. Thank you. I declare it carried 8-0. We have an officer's recommendation that council give the Chief Executive Officer delegated authority to negotiate exclusive contract with the preferred tender MG Group WA in accordance with tender 202209, completion of construction work of the South Headland Skate Park shade structure to a maximum contract value of $5,244,443.50, excluding GST, which will be delivered over the 2021 and 2022-23 financial years. And 2, notes additional funding of $1.987 million for the South Headland Skate Park shade structure required in the FY 2022-23 to be sourced from the strategic reserves. This requires absolute majority. Can I have a mover, please? Move, thank you, Councillor Zilke. May I have a seconder, please? Seconder, thank you, Councillor Turner. Are there any questions?
Yeah,
Is anyone against the motion? Sorry.
Sorry, just through the chair. Can I just have a point of clarification? The additional funding, is that the shortfall from the original tender, or is that?
I guess by default, yes, it is. It's a re-tender and a reprice, and the price has increased significantly from the original quote and tender that was accepted.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Coles. Is anyone else against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried absolute majority. Item 15, matters which the meeting may be closed, confidential matter. We have 2 reports to consider by councils tonight. I recommend that council close the meeting to the members of the public as prescribed in section 5.232 of the Local Government Act 1995 to consider these items 11.3 sorry, 15.1 and 15.2. Can I have a mover, please? Mover, Councillor Urquhart, thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Turner. Is there anyone against the motion? As the motion is not opposed, I declare it carried 8-0. I declare the meeting closed to the public at 8:02 p.m.
recommendations, Mr Mayor, so when we reopen to the public.
Yep.
I'm not sure whether any members of the public will come back in the live stream and we'll go back on. So we just need to read aloud the two motions that we've just passed.
Which was the... just for a benefit of members of the public, the two motions that were up on the Ordinary Council meeting this evening behind closed doors were passed unanimously 8-0 on both of them. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. That the Council endorses the Chief Executive Officer to enter negotiations with the Department of Plans, Lands and Heritage and Department of Health and Horizon Power to respect the proposed lands transaction identified in the report. That was carried unanimously. And item number 2, we have officers. So, officer recommendation 1 that Council makes a commitment to public support phase 2 of the More Than Mining FBT reforms, which has passed absolute majority. And officer's recommendation number 2, the Council agrees to a financial contribution of $30,000 ex-GST as part of their commitment and support of the More Than Mining FBT reforms campaign. The budget amendment will allocate $30,000. The budget amendment will be included in the second quarter of the 2021-22 budget review, which has also passed absolute majority. Item 16, closure. 16.1, the date of the next council meeting. Council, this brings us to the end of the last meeting for the year. The next council meeting will be held on the 2nd of February 2022 at 5:30 p.m. 16.2, closure. There being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 8:16. I would like to thank councillors, members of the public, Chief Executive Officer and his staff for the attendance tonight for the 2021. Hope you have a happy Merry Christmas and a safe New Year to all the councillors as well. Thank you very much.